Hello, I hope you are doing great today. So, today we are going to see how to use code behind for your Blazor components. So, as you may have seen, when you create a Blazor page or a Blazor component, the usual thing you do is you have your HTML here, and then you have a lot of your code under the code section in your .razor file. However, that may become a little bit counterproductive or may not be of your like. Also, when the file grows a lot, some people may not like them to have a lot of code in the HTML, and they would like to separate the HTML part of the actual code or functionality code as much as possible. So with Visual Studio you can actually do that. The first thing we are going to do is, you see that here we have this file with this component, which name is datagrid.razor, and we are going to create a new class. We are going to name it datagrid.razor.cs. Now you will see that it created the class under the same namespace where component is, and you see that Visual Studio already linked these files as the same. It recognizes they are for the same thing. However, the class still needs some changes. Since we are not using the partial keyword for the class is being recognized as a different class. If we use partial, now you see that we have in there our the error is gone. Now let's say that we want to override something here. We can override the after render sync. Pretty much we can override all of the methods that we were able to override from our view. Also, you see that in here we see the properties which are defined in the HTML. So that's great advantage. Things that you may want to do, for example, in here, let's say that, for example, this is a data grid. So one of the things that you may want to have is a list of column names. Now they are not going to be column names. Data grid, list of data grid columns. Now we can create, let's say that we want to have all of the data grid related classes in here. Okay. And let's say that there we are going to have the data type. Okay, we could have something such as a boolean in here for the auto generate columns. Okay, we set it as true by default if we want. And then things that we may want to do is okay, generate columns. Okay, so let's see if this how to generate columns is true. Then we go to generate columns. Then we will need to have the data. So let's say that we are going to have public object actually list. Okay, the data items. Actually, yeah, we're not going to use this one. Let's say that it's just an object. Okay, we need to put the async in here. Okay, so if these data items is not equal to null, we are going these data items that count greater than 0. Okay, using system link bar first item, because we are assuming that all of the columns have exactly the same name, and we only want to generate the column names, or at the moment we only want to get the column names. So these data items dot first. Okay, are actually for each bar data items type, actually data item type equals first item dot get type bar data item properties data item type dot, let's see, get properties. Let's say that we want to have instance public. And did I mention something? Yeah, I believe only those. And for each single data item property in data item properties, we probably have in here the name. So yeah, okay, so we are going to create then we are going to add a new data grid column in there. We are going to set the name single data item property dot name, and in this case let's just say that the data type is going to be the same data type for the property. Let's see, declaring type name. private bool should render grid. Okay, and let's say that here should render grid equals true. I could also overwrite the should render. Um, Actually, I'll do it. Let's see. Overwrite should render when this should render grid equals true. And actually, I'm not gonna use it because I'm not sure if it's going to work as I expected. I need to check that. For now, I'll just do it like this. And now I can do things such as if this should render grid for each single column in this dot columns, which are the columns of the grid. Um, okay. And here we are going to create the column name, single column dot name, and then we'll render that. Okay, so now it seems everything is okay. Now we go to our index, and here I need to create a test class. So public class my data item. Actually, person public string name public string last name public int age. Okay, now I am going to no, to implement the initialize a thing in here. In here I am going to create a test list. So you'll see that here I will have a list of persons. Persons list equals okay, and here I'll start adding things such as person list. I'll add the test information. What I'm doing here, like having classes defined in here and everything, I usually do not recommend it. I am just doing this for testing purposes and do quick code. But if you are going to define classes, I will do it in a separate file, and if they are going to be reusable in other project, a class library or something like that. Jill, Roberts, typo here. This should be age. I'll create random rnd equals new random age equals rnd dot next. I don't know, 10 to 78. Actually, we only need that one at the moment because we are not rendering the data, just the column names. Okay, and now in here we don't have that specified as a parameter. Actually, I believe we can also do it here, public. Yeah, I actually did it here. Parameter, I believe I need to do using, yeah. So I believe now we are able to see data items in there, but I probably need to compile first. Let's see how that goes. See if everything goes okay and the application compiles as I expected. And then we will continue creating that. We see that here we have the data items, and the data items is going to be persons list. Let's see what it says. I cannot convert that to a list of objects. Okay. And I believe that will actually work. Let's see. My debugger has not been working on my Mac, so at least for the WebAssembly portion. So let's see if it actually works or does something there. Otherwise, we will just see what happens. So you see that the code actually worked. I put as the header for the grid component, this is a test, and these are actually the names of the properties for the grid. It executed all of this. If the auto-generate columns is true, because actually I set it to true. This can actually be a parameter too. So if you see, pass the data, but let's say that I just don't want to auto-generate the columns. I need to compile again. If I don't want to auto-generate the columns, I just set that as false, and the render of the grid data or headers in this case are not going to be auto-generated. So if I run the application again, I probably will not see the column names anymore. So you can do the same with the other things, such as a the header, for example. Let's say that we have that header, so public bool display header. No, actually display grid title. This is going to be a parameter. Let's say that we So I am passing the title, but let's say that I don't want to display it. So let's say it's display grid title. So let's run this again. And if everything works okay and I didn't have any typo in there, even if the grid title is set, the display grid title um, should cause this not to display, but I am actually missing the logic for doing that. If the grid title is not null and is display grid title, let's just compare it to true so we have a better idea. So then there we should not see the title either, which is the one that said this is a test. So this is a sample of how to use um, how to create like a custom component, how to use the code behind in your components and the applications, um, and how you can use some of the um, parameters to drive your component creation. I hope this video has been useful for you. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified as soon as videos are uploaded. Also, please share the videos, like them, so the community and the channel grows more and I can keep creating more videos for you. Let us know in the comments things you would like to learn about .NET Core, Azure, and Unity 3D. And have a great day. Thank you very much.